Hey, good to have you here. We are talking about CSS styling text. Um, all right, so CSS, what does it stand for? What is it about? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. This is what we're talking about. So far, boom, let's be honest, all of our websites have been really ugly, lacking in style. We had a little bit of styling with inline styles, but that's really not the way that you want to do it for professional, big, or like any kind of like site or app. Really, what we're talking about is different types of styling sheets. The main big one that's common in use, we got Cascade Style Sheets, CSS. Cascading meaning that, well, we don't really need to know the depth of but cascading mean like things inherit properties from their parents in a certain way, and you don't really, that's just where the name kind of so all these elements, you could think of any like thing like this highlighted because there's an element within this box within this sheet. So like depending on what hierarchy of styling you went with, you need a way to determine like how's that thing gonna get styled, and so CSS is the thing that determines that. Anyway, you don't really need to understand a lot of that stuff. It's a little bit deep. Here's the thing. CSS is a way of making your website look pretty. That's what we're talking about. So we're going to do this starting with our favorite things project. So go to your dashboard. Of course, I already got it open right there, but I'll just do this with you. Boom, dashboard. Make sure that you're logged in, of course. Your unit 1, and then find all your favorite things. Yes, wonderful, great to have you here. And there it is. If we open this in a new browser or whatever, we can look at it here. And yours is, of course, going to look a little bit different, but you should have images and these emphasis going on here and some other things. Sure, your pictures probably won't be the same as mine. And I don't really need this anymore. I got that in my other window. All right, sweet. So this is what you're going to be doing. Right here, we want to create a new folder. So you can do that by clicking the new directory. It calls it a new directory folder right there. And we will call this CSS. And inside of your CSS folder, we're going to create a new file, and we're going to call that styles.css. Yeah, and see, your program knows it's a style sheet. It gives it a different little icon there. Fantastico. All right, now that we've created that, your file structure should look like this. We got to link it up, because even if we did some stuff in our CSS, our index here doesn't know to like use that file. So we got to tell it to use the file. You with me? So we're going to do that up in the header, which is like our directions. So I'm in my index.html. I'm going to say, hey, index.html. We're going to link. Let me just, we're going to link up the style sheet. And just to make sure I don't miss any of the syntax here, let's look at it like this, like this, like this, so on. Excellent. Very nice. Just so I can look at this and see this link. Yes, here. So the link, I'm so glad that I'm looking, because check this out. This is actually self-closing. This is actually self-closing tag, and we need an href here. And the href is going to point at the file that we want to link into this page. We want to link it, and from here, thinking about the file structure, where the heck is that located? Okay, from where we're at in the index, you have to go into the CSS file, and then it's the styles CSS. So what that looks like here is we say from here we're going to go into the CSS file folder. Oh, and it even gives me an option there, right? and styles.css. Excellent. And so that's what they call, this is the path from where I'm at into where I want to go for that reference. Brilliant. Where were we at here? And of course we got to tell relay what kind of link this is. So this is a style, STYLESH style sheet, and the type of style sheet is a text/CSS. Wonderful. I'm going to save all of that. Excellent. This is looking good. You gave me a closing tag here. Yeah, that is supposed to be there. What's going on here? This is missing that. Weird. Okay, excellent. I saved it. Now, these two things are linked up. I've now linked up that style sheet to it. So how the heck do we style? Okay, this is how styling kind of works. You can target things, right? So in our styles, we can go in and check this out. You can actually have two things going on at the same time. I'm gonna have my styles there, and so we have our styles right here, index right there. So looking at the styles file, right now it's totally blank. If I want to target something and change it, like let's say this H1, our header, my favorite things, the title of this guy, I want to make, I don't know, let's say we want this to be blue. I want my H1 here to be blue. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to go into our style CSS. We're going to type H1 and then curly brackets. Yeah, and then give our space. All right, so what this means is, hey, find the H1s and then do all the stuff that we are going to type in here to it. We're going to say the color, and notice when I start to type, boom, all these different options. Oh my gosh, there's so many different options and controls that you have over your different elements here. We're just looking at color. Let's make the color blue. Boom. And notice that it nicely gives me this color. I need an end of line, which is a semicolon here, just syntactically, and I will save this. Very nice. Now, if I go back to my favorite things and I refresh it, voila, it has turned my H1 blue. And that's how it works. Pretty straightforward, right? Syntax is maybe a little bit weird. You just have to say like what you're trying to, what the selector is that you're looking for, and then give that thing, or rather, this is the property, and this is the value. This guy's the selector. There we go. Sorry about that. H1 is the selector, of course, because it's selecting what you're trying to, your target, as I was saying. And then this is the, of course, property that we're looking at, and this is the value we want to assign to that property. So there's your nomenclature, your all the words, the vocabulary, proper vocab. Cool. So let's do another thing here. Let's also add let's see here. We'll add in a few rules. So we're going to add in the text to line, and we're going to do that at the center. Excellent. Save it. What do you think about that? I look at this now. I refresh. Oh, cool. All right. So it's centered my text. Could have guessed that. All right. And let's just get these in really quick. Our H2, we're trying to do font style, italic, and this is the proper way to do italics. It's really not something that you're supposed to do inline. Even though I wanted to see our last lesson, we went over inline, but that emphasis and strong really. Nowadays in the industry, you want a separation between design, your front end and back end, and really have separation of powers and stuff. So you really want all your designs, all your styles to be here in your styles sheet and not in your HTML. Yeah. Sorry. So your sheet font family is going to serif, yep. And for our unorganized list, we're going to do font size. Font size can be in all kinds of things, pixels, percentage, view width are a few of the biggies, REM and stuff. But right now we'll just do, we're probably all pretty familiar with styling font in pixels. And hopefully I didn't mess up any of that while I was talking. All right, great. So I'm going to save it. Boom. Looking pretty good. This is how we're supposed to look. And I look at my website. Let's see here. Refresh the page. Looking better. Looking better. I wouldn't say it looks great, but we're getting the idea that this is how you can apply styles. And I'm sure you can come up with some stuff that's way better. So let's see here. PX, as we said, stands for pixels. Sans serif is a kind of font. Yes, we should be familiar with a lot of these sans serif, and you can do different font types. Sure, colors. You can do colors a few different ways. You can do it. It does know some colors, like we typed in blue, but then to get really specific types of colors, if you do, when I was working my design job, you go to like a color picker or color wheel, and you find the exact color you like. Oh, that's kind of nice, and then you get this hex right there, boom, and you can use that as a color instead of going blue. It's like, I really like this like gray blue better. And I notice it even gives it to me there. Save it. Let's take a look. Boom. Looks a little bit classier, a bit more of a gray. And you can do this hover move. Let's see here. Can it, given my color wheel, does it do this here? Well, sometimes you can get like a color wheel. I don't know why. You can't get one. Oh, there it was. Haha. Just hover move. There it is. Yeah, and you can even get a color picker right there. Awesome, and find it. Of course, when color correcting, consider your screen compared to others. Great, sir. That's pretty good. That's a kind of cool blue thing. It's pretty classy. All right, so. Here we go. I'll lead you to read these things to go more into depth. Wonderful. Always prefer styling here opposed to styling inside of your HTML. Sometimes this strong will come up or whatever, but for the most part, we don't want to style this way. Better to style here in our CSS. To check out more styling, if you're really into design, I offer you this CSS Zen Garden. Really cool place to go and check out like design inspiration if you're like a design-minded kind of person. It has all kinds of like different, I'll let you explore, but it's all about design and more. So yeah, let's I'll leave that to you. All right, that's the basics of CSS. Cascading style sheets, that's the way to style and make things look good to great to amazing. Thanks for following along.